you can do your thing.
Okay, well, let me first start off by saying, it is so like warm, like being here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's an electricity here. I'm not being inappropriate at all, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
good chemistry.
Yeah, good chemistry, and then like good, rich, like beautiful melanin from the inside out. I think whenever we get around each other, it's like a charge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, black on black.
Yeah, so I love that. So I just had to say that. And yeah, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Nick.
Yep. Verbal Intercourse Jxn Podcast.
It's the one and only.
Yep.
It's the only one.
It's the only one.
When intercourse is done right, you only need, so I mean, you know,
right.
So that's where we're at with it. I'm so happy you let me come on here and talk to you.
For sure.
I think that you are brilliant. I think that you have a very strong, distinct voice in the culture here in Jackson, and I know you from school. Like I say we grew up together because we did grow up at the same time, but we went to school somewhere together. Like,
probably, did you go to Chastain?
I went to Powell. I went to APAC.
Probably.
I went to Murrah for a minute.
Murrah, that's where we went.
In 9th grade, you remember me from 9th grade?
I don't think we was in the same class.
We couldn't have been in the same class, but I knew you. Like, I knew y'all.
Yeah, we just, you know how Jackson people be around the way.
Yeah.
So, you know, once you cool with people in Jackson, it's just like people know you forever. That's why when people, you know, get in trouble or pass away, it hit like hard.
Like it's community.
Yeah,
like it's all one community.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. I wanted to say that because when I think about like who we've been and who we are now, you really cannot imagine who you will become or who the people around you, who they'll become or even what they're capable of.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I never thought I'd be doing a podcast.
Look at that. And I mean, I think for us too, I don't think we could have conceptualized like the ability to sit here and do this. When we were coming, I read the other day that the 2007 was the big takeoff for technology. Like 2007 was when like Apple, and I know I'm saying 2007, we graduated in 2006. But when you look back and say 2007, so we were the first like into the brave new world. For sure. Same time.
And it's funny that they put that actual, you know, 2007.
That date on it.
Yeah, because I definitely remember a legitimate shift.
Yeah.
It's funny in college when people start getting iPhones.
You remember this?
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
I remember when people started getting like iPhones, and I personally didn't care about phones at that point, you know. So I think I had some type of, I don't even know if it was a Galaxy. It was like a Nokia or something. But how it was shaped. You remember that jitterbug for the older people?
Yeah.
people used to say I had a jitterbug.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't care about it. I was like, I got like the latest PlayStation. I got a PSP. I got a laptop. I don't
care about the phone part.
Right. Like all of my friends are right here.
Yeah.
My girls on campus too. I don't even need no iPhone.
Yeah.
But that shift in technology made everybody think that they had to have the latest.
Need or like the consciousness change. Because when we grew up, I think about this every day. Outside playing. Like playing outside. Like today as an adult, I have to go outside.
Yeah.
I got to go outside. Even if I'm just going to stand around. I got to be outside. And what's so beautiful about that is like here, we don't ask each other like, what you doing outside? It could be any time of day. You could be doing anything and nobody is like confused about why you might be outside, because that's our culture here, is outside. But you know, I've lived in other places. We've been other places where it's strange to want to be outside. And so I said that, like relating it back to like when technology kicked off in 2007. I know for me, what a big shift it was because of what mattered. to us. Like you said, my friends here, my girl here, everybody already right here.
Right.
Why do I need to turn up over, what do they call it? FOMO, fear of missing out or whatever. But even back then.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's called fear of missing out, FOMO. So whenever you see that, that's what it's for. It's a term for it. Right? I wonder, use that in a sentence because I want to hear how you finna use it. what you finna say? Because
I would go. I don't even know FOMO. I would have to really sit with that.
Yeah.
That acronym because this is legitimate. Like I've seen it, but I haven't seen it that much to be using it in the sentence yet.
Yeah, FOMO, fear of missing out. So, for us, we didn't grow up with like that because we were in. A lot of us were more in like whatever it was. But then today it's like.
And the interesting thing about it is that, you know, growing up and being in grade school, you know, you pretty much always with your friends or whatever. But you didn't really, like you used the house phone, but you really didn't communicate that much. Now we communicate.
All the time. And I think it leads to more conflict, to be honest with you. That's good, Nick. Okay, let's go.
Like, because it's, you know, and then also it leads to more insecurity, more self-judgment, and people judging you. So maybe we just need to revisit that time. Yeah.
Anxiety. Would you use the word anxiety?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Social anxiety about appearances, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's crazy because my book that I'm reading, I take it everywhere. When I'm reading a book, I take it everywhere. Like, it's like, for me, it's like, don't forget about that book. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I take it everywhere. So this book, John Comer, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, it's kind of like what we're talking about, because in this book, he's talking about how technology and like an addiction to technology is pushing us into a hurry culture, instant gratification, all the time, anxiety, anxiousness, all of these things, and how if we could eliminate that feeling of hurry or the level of consciousness that we've been conditioned with around hurry up, need more time. Time is a man-made concept, right? So in this book, he's talking about like when time happened, like when artificial time started happening, and how we really just used to live by the weather, like live by sun up and sundown.
It's raining season.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's just to say like what we're saying about constant access to people, and over communication and overstimulation, how dangerous it is. But to hear like you and other people recognizing that is comforting, because so many people not recognizing that, and it's like a war with folks who are like me meeting new people, right? I don't be want to give people my phone number because I don't know what you finna do with it.
I think the interesting thing about that, you know, I think the interesting thing about meeting new people and giving them your phone number is that you're accessible anyway if you're on any type of social media platform. Yeah. So
what do you need my number for?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of more personable if I give you my number. Yeah. Back then, we didn't look at it like we do now, because even if we had social media platforms, the only thing you could reach us by was maybe the DMs or something. But I think the majority of people just text now. They don't really FaceTime. They don't talk. So even if they text all day on social media, that's their main form of communication, email. It is basically spaced us out, even though we're all
right here together. Yeah, you be sitting at the table with somebody and everybody be texting.
Don't even have no.
And you'd be like, "What's going on here?" Right. And so so I said that to say like me, and too, it's easy for me as a parent too. When I say easy, because I'm with my kids, I got my kids. Who gonna challenge that? Like, don't challenge. Some people will, and then that's when it become a problem, like, because they don't have any boundaries. But stepping away and like living, like being alive on purpose. And then we know it's like mental health month, like mental health wellness month, and all of these things that we're talking about, or I'm asking you, or like getting to the bottom of, is to make us think. Like, because we can see ways like where I might be rushing myself and how that's causing anxiety and what that's doing to my mind. I might be over communicating what that's causing, what that's doing to my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad to be sitting here talking to you about this.
For sure.
Because it's necessary. So I want to ask you something.
Hold on, before you do that.
Yeah, okay.
Before you do that, if y'all ain't noticed yet, Amanda Furdge is hosting the Verbal Intercourse Podcast today. I'm the guest, which is very interesting because I'm not used to sitting in that space on my podcast. So this should be great.
Yeah.
If you can hear the conversation already, it's already going well. So shout out to her, and let's get it.
Okay. So yeah, and then too, all of that with like awareness around mental health month. Sure. Because for me, I feel like maybe this space, when you created it, it was a way to get out some feelings that you were having. Like, do you remember conceptualizing verbal intercourse? Can you tell me?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of been in the works since about 2018, 2019. I was going to mental health therapy in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I had a therapist when I lived down there, and she was always telling me that I needed to find a space where I can have an outlet. I tried journaling. I didn't really think it's for me because I'm more so, if I'm writing to publish. I'm not writing to just read it and throw it away.
For leisure, yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to Jordan Red, who had actually done a podcast before, and we was in Vibe, the club, and I just said, I think I want to do a podcast. He was like, cool, let's get it started. And so when Kobe passed, I was kind of, first off, I was kind of not BSing the idea, but taking my time with it. But when Kobe passed, I just went on and got the equipment, and then I just got it started. So
what was it about Kobe's passing? Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant's passing.
Kobe Bean Bryant. Yeah. Really what it was that you could really pass away at any time. So to me, some celebrities, they have this level of immortality. And it's interesting because it's just like you never think those people are ever going to die. Even if they older than you, you just can't really think about.
Yeah, you don't recognize their mortality, period. Like you don't recognize when they were born. Like, oh, this person was a kid once.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? When you see that baby picture, you be like, damn, he was a baby before.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that pushed me to new heights to be able to think about, okay, whatever I ever thought about, I need to at least try to execute it.
Yeah.
And so I just got it started. Verbal Intercourse was basically, I was just inspired by the Wu-Tang Clan, their sounds and stuff like that. And I thought I'd be perfect for a podcast because I just got a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of us have a lot of opinions. I think I'm just one of the few that's able to express it. And also I looked at it as a self-improvement tool, something that'll help me get through the day, something that I can put together and be in a creative space, help me to meet a lot of new people, find inspiration from the guests, find inspiration within myself, improve my ability to speak.
Yeah.
So
you have a consciousness around betterment.
Yeah, for sure.
And not even just your own self, but also like recognizing what this can do for community, for the people that listen, for the people involved, from the top to the bottom. A consciousness around betterment. How do you arrive at that as how old are you? I'm 34.
I'm 32. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So yeah, how do you arrive at that at 32? Did something happen? What clicked in your? I know you mentioned therapy, which is, I suppose, what might have brought you there. But what makes you, or what made you say to yourself, I gotta grow?
I think I think I've always wanted to just grow. I think I've always been ahead of my time when it comes to assessing the people around me as well as the environment, seeing when I feel comfortable somewhere and when I'm uncomfortable. So I think I've always had goals. I've always wanted to be somebody that was influential. I prayed to be influential, not as far as being some type of celebrity or something, but being able to influence positive change within the Black community specifically. So, so I think, you know, my parents kind of grounded me in that. I don't think they knew what they were doing. Parents be winging it. You a parent. I'm sure when I be a parent,
you know, when they was like the wing shortage, I got them all. I got all the wings because that's all I do is wing it. But yeah, so go ahead.
But yeah, I think honestly, a lot of the books that I read as a child, I started off, I was like second grade with like a 12th grade reading level. Yeah. But it was because I was reading a bunch of books about Black heroes, Black activists. I looked at a lot of documentaries growing up. I looked at a lot of historical movies. And then, you know, as I transitioned and I went into my adolescence, all I did was play ball, read, and play video games. And when I first picked up Nas music, I think that drove a different education in my mind. So it gave me a broader perspective of the things that not only that I had lived, but the people around me. It gave me a better understanding, as well as the communities that I was in. Playing basketball, you get to meet a lot of people. Growing up in Jackson, you get to be in every different hood as well as beautiful. The suburbs. So, so I think
the Mississippi way.
Real talk.
Yeah. It's a special place.
For sure.
Mississippi is the soul. Like, Mississippi is a very special place. And I went away and I came back, and a lot of us go away and come back. But once you really commit to being here and you really start looking around and listening and feeling and vibing, you'll recognize like Mississippi is like, it's nowhere else to be, really.
Definitely. I think it, once you really get to that age where you're able to look at the different levels of the beauty, I think it'll hit you, especially when you go off somewhere else. I think also with me working in home health and me working in the rural areas, I worked in South Mississippi, Hattiesburg, all the way down towards the coast. I worked in Columbia, South, that's South too. Currently I work in the Meridian area, so that's like going towards Bama. Going to those rural areas, talking to these elderly people and different people from different walks of life, different perspectives. It's a very different place. Yeah, it's a beautiful place though. And then we got fresh air for now. You know what I'm saying? We got fresh air for now. We can see the stars at night for now. But yeah, so beautiful. So also I bring up Mississippi because when I think about being from here, I think about myself and what makes me special. I feel it's the mental fortitude, like mentally who you have to be being here, coming out of here, representing this place, and being conscious of culture, race, politics, all of these types of things. Now, I said all of that to say you and Verbal Intercourse here in Jackson making it look cool. Yeah, that's the purpose. I tend to put a lot of topics on the podcast that I feel like can be informative and fun. I think that a lot of people, especially our age, need to be paying attention to the information that they bring into their soul, basically their spirit. I think me having love for music that is more so introspective than commercial, rather, kind of molded me to find certain things important and entertaining. Like I wouldn't be entertained by something that's cliche. It's a lot of cliche stuff that goes on podcasts where black men disrespect black women, podcasts where black women disrespect black men. My favorite podcast out right now is Nas' podcast, The Bridge, where he's just getting these guests on, talking about hip hop, talking about where it came from, stuff like that I find interesting. I don't necessarily like, I might see a clip of something and I might think, oh, okay, that's funny. But do I really want to listen to that every day? Nah, because it's funny because it's like, I finally got to that point where I realized that whatever you consuming, it'll get into your spirit. For instance, I've been rewatching The Sopranos. Yeah,
this is good, Nick. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Let's go.
I've been rewatching The Sopranos, and I remember when I first watched it, Tony Soprano, the main character, how he was in therapy, but how it really wasn't working because he didn't really want it to work. But he was an asshole, and he yell all the time, get pissed off real fast every time. And I was watching it, and I was like, and me looking back on the first time I watched it, I was like, damn, I was getting pissed off. And it's because I was watching this shit every day. like I could rewind back to, I don't know, 2016 when Future Dirty Sprite 2 came out. Yeah, I was smoking a lot of weed. I was drinking a lot of liquor because that was what Future was talking about. So,
so you are what you take in. Like you definitely are a reflection of that's in my handy dandy book too. But you know what I'm saying? Like you are a reflection of everything that you take in. So the people that you're around, this dangerous scrolling, this dangerous mindless scrolling where you're just seeing millions of opinions and millions of thoughts and just being inundated with other people's stuff. If you don't have the health already in place to guard your mind or protect your mind or set a time limit, or then you're taking everything personally, and then you're looking up from your phone. You just read a tweet where somebody's got an attitude, and you look up from your phone, you don't even realize you have an attitude. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just a vicious cycle. I want to get to like whose wellness or whose betterment is prioritized with your podcast. Is it your own? Is it the guest? Is it the listener? Is it equal? Like, how would you divide that pie?
Oh, that's a great question. I think honestly, it'll be if it was 3 different categories, it'll be 33% each, because 33.3 if you want to be technical out there, jackasses. But
he's a doctor, by the way.
But I think I really enjoy listening to others talk. Yeah. Especially when they got good shit to say. Yeah. I think and I think they enjoy the experience of actually being on the podcast, because usually after they hop off, they was like, man, I really enjoyed it. Like that was
therapy
different.
Session or something.
Right. So I think, and for the listener, I think that I feel like I'm improving as I go about this. And I think that is my most objective goal, to listen to what I'm putting out and to see how I can improve with maybe just putting it together, speaking, all of that. So I think for the listener that really enjoys a podcast that's created by a black millennial male from Mississippi, I think they would enjoy it.
Yeah. So it's divided up equally. That's good stuff. And I would have even been impressed if you had said me. Because you know what we do for ourselves, the way we better ourselves at 100%, then everybody's getting 100%. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that we get wrapped up in the idea that we have to share so much of ourselves, especially when we have goodness. You feel guilty for having goodness for yourself, right? But it's okay. Like, you should have that goodness at 100%, and then you're giving 100% because that's what you have. So even if you had said me, it's for me, I still would have. But you still essentially said that. You just, you
Yeah, I mean, I think creating a podcasting period is for me because I have a passion for it. I really enjoy talking over the mics, stuff like that. I think I'm very happy that God sent me this outlet.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times people, they don't have good outlets, so they go to whatever they do, clubbing, sex, drinking, smoking. Ain't nothing wrong with none of those, but to use it as like
a sedative.
Yeah, that's different. So I'm just thankful for that.
Yeah. And so I want to ask you then, with hearing you say that, if you had to lay out a goal. So artist, I consider you an artist. I consider you an artist because I understand you to be a curator. Right. And so you are thoughtful. You are, well, first of all, you're a seeker. That's beautiful to me. I recognize that in you. And in your seeking, you're able to filter wisdom, garbage, right. Average, regular, normal information. You're really good at sifting through. And I think probably because you are authentic, you're really good at saying how you feel. Yeah. And this is how I feel, period. I love that about you. And I can love it because sometimes you say things and I'm like, Nick, really? What? But
I feel like
that. You feel like that. And so, and I have to respect, and I love that because everybody doesn't have that where you'll feel obligated to respect their opinion because you see this person's authentic, this person's thorough. This is how they really feel. This is how they showing up. Sometimes you see people's stuff and you feel compelled to argue or debate with them because that's the energy that they bring. So I said that to celebrate you for that. Because I want to mention that in all of that, as artists, it's good to have a statement, right? It's good to have a bottom line about who you are or want to be or think you should be as a creative or as an artist person, something that can guide you, a guide. And this guide helps you in your mind. Now, I'm saying it's artists, but this is for humanity. It's good to have bottom lines that you establish for yourself. I will not be a thief. That's a good bottom line. Carry that with you. And we know that if nothing else, this person is informed by the fact that they will not be a thief. You know what I'm saying? And so as artists, establishing like, I will create or commit to producing sustainable art. I will commit to producing authentic art. I will commit to producing art that's going to reflect the times that we live in. I see you do that with this podcast where every episode you've talked about mental health, you talked about relationships, you talked to athletes, you talked to parents, so I really see you doing that work. And that's so special and so important. I want to celebrate you for that. And I want to ask you, have you figured out what your bottom line is yet? Or your statement? Like if you had to summarize.
If I had to summarize my bottom line or my personal statement or my purpose, I would say that my purpose is to provide informative yet entertaining content to the millennial population, whether it be whatever ethnicity, but I specialize in Black. Because I'm Black.
Specialize in blackness. Blackness is my first language.
Right. Blackness is my first language. Yeah. My purpose is also to listen to the guests, not judge regardless of whatever they say. Learn from the guests, and always be consistent with capturing the time. I think that when I listen to music, people that create music, like it was interesting because in 2020 it was a pandemic. Well, it's still a pandemic, but you would have an artist that'll drop a whole album and not say shit about the pandemic, which is wild to me because it's just like, I mean,
who's this for? Who's this for?
Exactly. Who did you make this album?
Yeah.
For? You know, everybody. I'm not saying everybody's supposed to be some type of.
Everybody's supposed to have a face mask on their album cover. No,
right.
But we did live in a whole. We're living in a whole entire crisis, humanitarian crisis,
right?
In the whole world. This is a whole world, global, right? And so your project or your thing has none of that,
right? So to basically translate that and equate it to the podcast, I think that it's very important that I drop content that I feel like people about things that we should be thinking about as millennials, especially Black millennials. Mm-hmm. You know, I could have made a lot of different podcasts off of that one group of people alone, because it's so much that we aren't talking about that we should be talking about. We spend so much time talking about bullshit, arguing about bullshit, debating about bullshit, where, you know, it's a whole world of information out there that we should be really putting into our brain. Yeah,
it's a lot of good stuff out there to think about and to take in and like make you a good person, like to make you a better person.
And I'm not saying that to sound preachy. Like,
of course. Yeah. Of course we know like everything is true at the same time. Like that's what I tell myself when I find myself like conflicted or especially as a Black woman, all of the ways that our lives intersect, I always have to tell myself that's true and this is true too. Right. Like there are so many true things at the same time, no matter how wild it might be. So I want to ask you kind of a wild card question, because I know you're intentional. I know you have a lot of fun. I know everybody you bring to your table, you want to feed them. Have you had any challenging conversations where you really maybe disagreed, or you really just didn't get it, or you felt like there's another way to say this or express this? Have you had any challenges with your guests, even with coming up with your ideas for the podcast? Like, what are some challenges that you deal with, and then how do you deal with them?
Well, I think the ultimate challenge for an independent podcast to start off with is to build up enough respectability to be able to obtain guests. So that's tough. Mm-hmm. It's also tough to, basically put everything on the internet, do all of it I do all that on my own. I come up with like all the cover art.
This is where we insert the round of applause. This is where everybody's saying, like, yeah, that's a big deal too, Nick, because you are also like, as much of your life as this is, you also have other parts of your life. Right. Yeah. So, okay, go ahead, because I had to say that.
But yeah, I think I have had some, I won't say challenging conversations on the podcast, because I think that when the guests come on, it's usually somebody that I feel like we kind of hear. Now, I would love to have topics that, me and the guests wasn't here. And I'm sure it has been when it comes to the relationships part. I know I did a podcast with, I think I had 3 guests. We was all on the podcast, and we was talking about Kevin Samuels. This is back when he first started. And so...
For those of you who don't know, I'm going to tell y'all what I have come to know, which is... Some months ago, somebody I knew was like glued to their phone. A man was glued to their phone, and I hear this other man on the other side of the phone going off. That's the way I could describe it. Going off about whatever they were going off about. But some of the things I heard, kind of to me sounded like are you watching a Tyler Perry movie, or are you know what I'm saying? So, okay, this is just me, my personal opinion. That was some months ago. But this man who was engaged in this activity, I'm like, damn, that's kind of strange because you should be able to formulate your own ideas and opinions about certain things. And some of these things that this person is saying are obviously, like, clearly, obviously, like, okay, you might want to turn the volume down or put your headphones on for that. So I just moved away from it. But I would see when I would sometimes, because luckily this kind of stuff don't come across my table a lot. I don't want to say luckily, I like to know what's going on, but I'm blessed to be able to filter through. So I kept seeing that name, Kevin Samuels, and every time I saw it, it was associated or affiliated with like drama. Like I never saw it like, and there was a good energy coming off of it. And when I say good, I mean like, oh, let me tap into that, or oh, let me see, like, you know what I'm saying? Just the energy that I was getting off of it. So you stay away from it. But just headlines, you know, social media is super good at summarizing what's going on. So you can get it all in the sentence. He said such. So fast forward, I recognize, okay, this person is becoming a sensation, but I still to this day have not like tapped in and tuned, like heard what he said or whatever. But I did get from the internet that some of these things might have been considered problematic, or you know what I'm saying? Just these types of things. And so then all of a sudden, overnight, it seemed this person had passed away. So for me, I'm like, didn't he just rise to fame? Like, didn't he just kind of
the documentary gonna be crazy?
Didn't he just kind of show up? So then for me, that immediately my reaction is, well, whatever the circumstances are, man, God rest your soul. Like, you know what I'm saying? Passing away, we become more desensitized to death today than ever. And we're not thinking about not even gun violence, but the pandemic, but cancers, but all of the death is around us so much that when somebody dies, it can become laughable. We be like, sorry to that man. Like, sorry to that man or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But death is a permanent, a real thing. And no matter who it is, that person has people close to them that will be severely, deeply affected by their death. And so once Black with No Chaser, which is my news source. So little commercial there. Black with No Chaser. Shout them out.
They shared my initial review to Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers album. So
check it out. And so it's good to have them because you can get some information. Like for a person like me who's not finna go to the shade room, I'm gonna check with, you know, some homies. So they got it first, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. My reaction is, that's crazy, because how else can you feel with a level of consciousness around death, but also a level of consciousness around like this person's energy that you experienced a little bit via social media while they were on Earth. So I'm like, the internet went crazy with that. Yeah, they did, and a lot of people they kind of showed their ass. But I think, you know, it was just one of those things that I wouldn't tapped in the dude either. Only thing I would see was the clips that would go up past Twitter or something like that. Like I said, I don't really consume that type of energy. To me, it's always about sports, hip hop, stuff like that. That's what I consume on a day-to-day basis. I think he was a polarizing figure that brought out a lot of opinions in Black millennials, because, you know, everybody is on social media trying to say, am I worthy? Everybody. Everybody want to ask outside of themselves what they need or want to know for themselves. It's a big, so social media, the internet is causing comparison, and it's the thief of joy. I have to get it out of my mind sometimes, like, and I never want what other people have. It's always like, wow, like how can I get my podcast to this level, or how can I get this job or that job? You know, I've always rooted for everyone, but the internet will make you be like, look over there, like, dang, that grass look green, and you know, you never know, they might have to walk through the sands to even get to the green. You know what I'm saying? So
So yeah, that's what I think about it.
Yeah, and so maybe not even giving the internet all of the credit, but the use of the internet, because for those of us who have found ways to engage in social media in a healthy enough way, you know, like in a healthy way, social media or the internet, we can, like for me, I have times a day where I'm gonna check and scroll, and that's gonna be it, because I recognize like the feelings. I recognize in myself like what this can do. You can open the app and be triggered instantly, immediately by something, and it really just depends on what you want for yourself, like what you want for your wellness.
And then niggas will like it's so many hypothetical situations that you read on social media and then it's so funny because like I've literally done it myself and watched couples get to arguing about some shit
on social media.
That's so hypothetical. Like you would never. Like
that would never happen.
The two of you would never make that happen. Yeah. But if it did happen, what the hell you mean you would do this?
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And I don't know where I heard it or read it at, but it's called like trying to cope with the future. Like I think maybe Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now is talking about, because we're talking about mental health. All of this is a conversation about wellness and betterment. And so he's saying, where we run into the biggest issues is when we are not in the now, like in right now. You can only do and focus on what's right in front of you, right? The past is there so that we can reference it. The future is not real, but here we are constantly trying to cope with a future that we don't even know is real. So you might be driving around looking at your gas tank. Damn, I'm running out of gas. I ain't got no gas money. But you're driving now. You got gas now. So why you trying to cope with something from in the, what you consider is the future, instead of focusing on or working through like what's going on right now?
I find it interesting that you brought that up, because I was just thinking about how I need to focus on staying in the now. Yeah. Like I really spend the majority of my day thinking about the future or the past. Yeah. Never just the present.
What's right now. I'm so happy to hear you say that, because the level that you'll go to in your life is spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, economically, the level that you'll go to once you start right now it's amazing, because there's so much peace there. It's so much peace in accepting the fact I can only control myself and I can only deal with what's happening right now. So even for me as a parent, damn, how stressed out I would be thinking about bedtime, dinner, all this. No, I can't think about that right now. Yeah. Right now, I got to think about what I'm doing, because that's still thinking about the future or trying to cope with the future is still in the joy of right now.
Of the present.
Yeah, so I think about like looking at my kids when we're at the park and they're playing and having a good time, and I'm sitting there watching my watch. Why would I do that? Right. You know what I'm saying? But not to say I haven't done it. It's an unlearning that we have to do, because that's how we've been raised in conditions. Everybody around us is doing that.
Yeah.
So
I think that especially the thing with me is that I'm a Cancer, so I have a really imaginative.
What's your birthday?
June the 30th.
Okay, my son Titan, his birthday is July 13th.
Okay.
He's a Cancer too. Yeah. I'm a Capricorn mom, and Titan is very much anxious about what's next, what's tomorrow. Mom, can we do what next week? Can we? Boy, you got to learn how to tell time.
Cancers are naturally
like, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta learn how to read.
You gotta learn how to read. But and see, that might be a message for both of us too.
Right.
Which is like that level of anxiousness. So I'm glad to hear from you, if you can give me more insight about what you think informs that part of you that is like where you recognize today, I'm trying to consciously focus or work on being present.
I think my Cancer nature, as well as how I was raised, made me naturally anxious and pessimistic. I feel like my mother has some small pessimistic, I ain't gonna say small, pessimistic traits.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom.
You're beautiful. We love you.
But she has some, you know, I used to think that it was just a parent being a parent.
Yeah.
But it's something about a parent telling their child the worst shit can happen. It's between being a parent and pessimistic. It's a fine line.
Yes.
Like, you being pessimistic or you being a worrying parent.
Yes. Let me tell you something. I've had to catch myself early on in my parenting because I'm glad to grow. And kids will make you do that. Kids will, if you want to be a better person, more than if you want to be a better person, but if you want to put good people out into the world, kids are the #1 way to have you figuring out how to be better, how to do better, how to get it together, right? And so, yeah, I would find myself sometimes trying to teach the boys how to wash their hands. Y'all wash. I got 3 boys. Wash your hands, okay? Brush your teeth, wash your face, wash your hands. And they're whatever. Humanity is anti brushing your teeth and washing your face. So me trying to figure out how to get them to do. If you don't brush your teeth, all your teeth gonna fall out your mouth, and you gonna
the worst.
And so now they looking in the mirror terrified, and I'm like, damn, why you have to say that? That's not even necessary. Like, just give them the rules.
But the thing about it though is when parents do that shit is possible. What they be saying,
yes,
like my mother
you're speaking it into action,
right? Like my mother would be like, if you don't put your seatbelt on, you gonna get in a car crash, you gonna fly out the windshield, and you gonna be dead.
She tell you everything, step by step.
I was like, how the hell? You know what I'm saying? But it's possible.
But it is possible.
So, you know.
Yeah. That really is how it is though. But that's still talking about like what we're talking about, like trying to cope with a future or not being present right now. Like it's so, let me tell you, I struggle, and I use this. I say I struggle with this because there is a struggle, and struggle doesn't necessarily have to have a negative connotation about it. I be playing tug of war with God over my blessings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Give me that. It's a healthy struggle. So when I say I struggle with things like this, I mean it in a healthy way, but struggle with like staying present so that your mind can be healthy. But in that, you have to watch like what's going on in your brain. And it's an opportunity, but it's also a challenge to be figuring out, why is this popping up? What's triggering this? How is this happening? And where does my betterment and wellness play into these thoughts that I'm having, right? So in the mornings, I might not check I get up at 4:30.
Wow.
I get up, crazy, right? But I get up at 4:30 because I know what getting up at 4:30 allows me to do for the rest of my day, how it makes me better. So I need to get up at this time because I need the quiet and peace to do these things that will make me better for my day. Devotion, meditation, prayer, get the house ready. So when the kids wake up, I'm putting them immediately into this healthy flow, and then we flowing into the day, like deciding already. But it also gives me a chance to watch my thoughts. Like, I definitely recommend. I'm not weird, but I like silence. Like, I love.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh gosh, are we getting old?
Yeah.
I love me some silence, like good old can't hear nothing. You can just you and whatever else. Like, I haven't got to the point where even in the car now, I'm not listening to music unless I'm being intentional about like what I want to hear and what I'm looking for.
Me too.
So setting yourself up for betterment all through the day, but that's grounded in watching your thoughts, right? So if I'm waking up at 4:30 and I know I'm struggling with something, at 4:30 is my time to work it out. Or to lay it out so I can use the day to figure out like what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a level of consciousness, and it's about deciding, like choosing to be more conscious, just more aware of your thoughts that you're having and what's triggering it. And that's so important because the animosity in our community right now is so much animosity. It's so much anxiousness. It's so much electricity, but it's not being facilitated properly because people don't know how to facilitate for themselves. You don't know what you're feeling because you're not taking the time to figure it out because you're scrolling or the news or just whatever it is. And I'm not anti-scrolling. Like, we're not damn scrolling to hell in social media. Everything has a good use and a good purpose. I see some beautiful things on social media every day. I see dads taking their daughters to class day looking amazing. You see people with their beautiful children getting awards, and people with disabilities figuring out how to navigate the world. It's some beautiful stuff on social media. But like we said in the beginning, it's just about cultivating your own feed. So like, people, somebody said this to me the other day. I used to be so frazzled that you didn't follow me on social media because of the way you engage with me in real life. And I used to be so confused because you didn't follow me on social media, even though I interact with you in a real thorough, pure way, one-on-one, FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's like, wow, let's really dissect that, because people really are feeling like that. Like
them followers, that shit serious.
Yeah, like,
why you unfollow me?
Yeah, like, people are really thinking about this. So I just said that to say, like, just the level of consciousness for me on social media or anything I'm taking in, it's curated. I'm following Home and Garden and Food Network and people that inspire me, people I know specifically, like people I know directly. Like, I don't follow like celebrities that I can't access because I don't like to be wondering about other people's shit that don't have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so just following and just curating like a mood and keeping people on your timelines that you know are gonna bring the energy that you want to have and that you want to put out in the world. So yeah, Nick, you are one of those people. I like following you. This morning I had to hit the follow on the podcast because I'm like, damn, I wasn't following the podcast because I thought I was getting everything. You know what I'm saying? But I said that to say, I like to follow you because, like I said, sometimes you say things or you bring things up, and I'm really like, I kind of want to debate with you on this, Nick. Like, I kind of want to go back and forth. I really love that because I imagine that that's you getting stuff out of your head that if you keep it inside, it could drive you crazy. So tell me, and what I want to use is I want to use this new Kendrick Lamar album. Now, I want to preface this with I love Kendrick Lamar as an artist. When I say as an artist, I have nothing. I can't judge him on nothing but his artistry because I don't know him personally. Right. I also don't follow him on social media, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know him personally. So just as an artist myself, and like the respect for who he's shown up as he's matriculating through the industry is inspiring to me. He's a brilliant writer, a brilliant creative, just like, wow, like very like incredible to me as an artist, right? And so I said that to say I am one of those lame people that wait till all the hype is over to get into like whatever it is. I am the person that will wait until everybody done went and see. Like, that's how I am. And so I've been anxious about some work from him for a while because he does such a good job at capturing the time. Like, he does such a good job at time capsules. So I've been waiting to hear from him. There's certain artists like you, Nas, like it's certain people I want to hear from. Like, I know I use that as like a benchmark. Like, how am I living? Because Nas, most they influenced who I became, right? So I use that as a benchmark. So I'm waiting to hear from Kendrick Lamar. I keep hearing he gonna drop something. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait and see. The hype is starting to build up around the time that I'm really starting to recognize like the harm of social media, the harm of over communication, the harm of all of these things. I'm like, damn, my boy dropping into the introverse at a time where I'm trying to come out. Like, I'm trying to come out. So it's like a conflict of interest here. But then it's like, but damn, I know he gone. I know he finna bring it. So then it's also like, well, let me wait because I know a lot of people got their feelings going on. So damn, man, I fucked up. I fucked up one day and was like, I need to listen, because we were talking about, I was like, I need to listen to it, but I don't want to listen to it too soon, because I like to give all of my attention. Like right now where I'm at in my life, I'm sure you're there too, or you're starting to recognize like these moments, all we got. Right then is all we got. So now when I'm with people, I leave my phone in the car. This is your time. This is our time. Like when I'm with my kids, I put my phone up. Even I have even started like taking less pictures, because I'm like, damn, I'm taking pictures. I need to be in the moment. I need to be in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I said all of that to say, like, damn, I'm gonna get with Nick. I know he be on. So I need to do my research. He gonna push me. He don't even know he gonna push me into this Kendrick Lamar album ahead of time. Right. But I'm like, cool. So I was, hey Google, play Kendrick Lamar, because I like to go back. Before I go into something new, you like to go back, especially if the artist to earn that from me. Like I know what you finna do for me. Let me hear what you've been doing. Like, let me see if I can catch up to where you might be now as an artist. So damn, Google playing Kendrick Lamar, I'm hearing some, like, that boy, he been narrating. Right. So then it plays and I'm like, I know this gotta be one of the songs off the new album, because I ain't heard it before. But I'm like, do you turn it off or do you listen to it? You might as well listen. I had to listen to it. Yeah. So it was this one. I'm gonna tell you, because I'm like, I'm finna put it on repeat. Now you want to do an install. But I'm like, that boy, he has some things to say. It's this one. Father Time. Okay. Yeah, it's this one. And it's so, this is how I listen. I listen with the lyrics. I got to, and I'm going to pause it. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to do all of that, because I'm like, I need to know like what's happening here. Like what's really happening here. I said all of that to say. And I just started today on the way here. I think this was like track number 3. Okay. That's because I listened to the first 2 songs 5 times. Like I went back and like listened to the first 2 songs 5 times. It's a lot going on. Yeah, so beautiful. But what I've already intuited, this boy been working on his mind. Yeah, that's really. This boy been working on his mindfulness. Betterment, wellness. So tell me what you think, because I seen your tweets. Yeah, I seen them. I think it's perfect, but I think it's perfect for me. Yeah. So like I tell people, I don't necessarily argue music that much no more. You know, I might play around with Ant and you know, shout out to Ant. Yeah. You know, I might play around with them on social media. Yeah, shout out to Portia. Yeah. Hey girl, I love you. Okay. But I don't necessarily argue about music no more. What I think is beautiful to me, you know, it might not be attainable to your ears. Yeah. But this album to me was perfect for me, because these feelings that he having, I feel like I felt a lot of the same things. Yeah. Not everything he's felt. Yeah. But a lot of the same things. I think that we really need to take a step back and have a conversation about some of the things that he's talking about. Now, this won't be his most commercially successful album, but it might be his most important as far as the message. Yeah. And if he can inspire people to actually take an introspective look at themselves, or go to therapy to get some help to be able to look deep into their spirit, they would really relate to this album. Yeah. Because that's really what it's about. Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that. I have an example. A friend of mine, we have a joke. I have a joke about Adele. Adele albums, and I don't remember what year it was, but she came out with an album and they were really into it. They were like, you didn't check this Adele out yet? She jamming. And I just kept saying like, no, I ain't got to yet. It ain't called me yet, right? Yeah. So then one day they were like, you still ain't listened to that Adele, huh? So I'm like, that's just where you at in your life.
Yeah.
That's where you are in your life, that it's resonating with you. But that's really how music and artistry is, especially when it's made by your peers. When we think about Kendrick Lamar is one of our peers. He's one of our creative peers. So he should be able to chronicle if we're on the same path, if we're all growing, if we all developing, if we all doing it, it should feel very much like, damn boy, you been reading my journal?
Right.
Right. Like you too, you know what I'm saying? I love that. That's so beautiful. Because like we were talking about, even the first 3 songs I've heard, like you working on your brain. You tapping into your body. You tapping into a different level of consciousness around what's really going on and giving people language.
And I think he's mindful enough to even put on the album that basically, I know people have this celebrity complex where they feel like these people are bigger than us. But what he's basically saying is that, you know, we all going through the same shit.
I'm the same as you.
Yeah. And I think and he has a song, Savior, that you haven't made it to yet.
Okay.
and to give you a little bit of insight on it, he's basically before he starts rapping, he's talking, he was like, you know, J. Cole gave you inspiration, but he is not your savior. Yeah. You know, I did this, but I'm not your savior.
Yeah,
said, Future had you turned in the club, but he is not your savior.
Yes, let's go. Like go inside, go within. Like tuned in to tune in. Like go within.
And I think you know, to basically tie this all in basically, you know, in the combo. I think that introspectively, that's what I try to do with verbal intercourse. I try to bring it all in and have a kaleidoscope of different ideas, concepts, and topics that we can all stuff it in our frontal lobe and feel a type of way or learn something from.
Yeah. Do you feel that this is a beautiful, for your kids, for your legacy, this is a beautiful chronicle of who you're becoming, who you are, who you've been, who you're becoming, and what you see for yourself. You feel that way?
Yeah, I think anytime you record anytime you record anything and you place it out there for the world to see, it gives you some sort of immortality complex, because regardless if you hear or not, they'll be able to hear your voice. Or, you know, a lot of times I take pictures to try to capture the moment where I was like, you know, if I grow old, it'd be like, damn, I was cool as shit.
Yes. Print them out too. Print them out, because I'm telling you, and I heard you say, like, I think you want kids one day. Yeah. When you have kids, and they get to looking at your stuff, and when you're not living in the moment, those moments can become very sensitive, because you'll be looking at pictures and you're like, damn, I wasn't even really there. But if you practice in mindfulness and consciousness, then when you take pictures, or when you can look at pictures and say, I was really there. I was living. That's really, really special, because your kids or whoever, they're going to want the backstory. Like, what was going on here?
What you got on,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so then when they're like, Mom, who is that? And I say, oh, that's Nick Walker, Dr. Nick Walker, Verbal Intercourse, you know, in their little Black history. Because I make my boys a Black history book of all the Black folks that I know personally, and like put y'all in there for them, like local, not local, but this is our Black history. This is our community. So you, even DJ Venom, Kansas,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, like all of y'all have these little portions in this book where it's like, this is Black history. We can access this right now. This is your legacy. This is your community. They see y'all in the stores. We saw Dev Mack in Target one day. And I'm like, y'all don't know who this is yet. Y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so
he got things coming.
Yeah. And so but being able to give them that and know what community is and what it does. And then what's most special about y'all is that all of y'all are working to be better. Right. To be better. And when you're working to be better yourself, you're trying to better the community. It's a ripple effect. And so I love that. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you. This is your legacy. This is something to study. This is something that's making you better for us, for Black women, because I speak as a Black woman, for parents, for just to even be able to say there's somebody out here in tune with the culture and giving us space and platform where you can hear from folks. And this is also his way of becoming better.
Right.
Of his wellness, of his betterment.
Yeah,
and so, and then look, you can look good doing it. You can look cool doing it. You can, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's beautiful to me. So thank you for that, Nick.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's been amazing having you on the platform today.
Thank you, Nick.
Really proud of you.
Thank
You're
you.
an amazing mother. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
Really intuitive, introspective.
Don't make me cry. I will cry. I decided yesterday that I'm just going to be a person that's going to be crying. I decided that yesterday. But when you reach a level, when you reach a place where where you want to be in every moment and you start recognizing the beauty and intimacy, you be wanting to get emotional. Like tears are also for joy.
I feel you. Hey,
You be like, what am I feeling?
right. Like, I be tearing up watching sports documentaries. I done seen 50 times. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
It means you're growing. It means you're growing, Nick. Yeah.
But yeah, we gonna slide on out, man.
I know we went over time.
We did, but it was amazing.
Yes,
it was
thank
dope.
you. Anytime.
Oh yeah. So hey,
Verbal Intercourse.
shout out to
for
Amanda
life.
Furdge, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we're gonna definitely have her back on the Verbal Intercourse Jxn Podcast. And we out. Peace.
Peace.